Ring.
Ring,
All
ring.
right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 5,457th meeting of the Oakland Rotary Club. I'm Tom Limon, president of the Oakland Rotary Club, founded in 1908. And we are the third oldest Rotary Club in the world, with more than 36,000 Rotary clubs in over 200 countries worldwide. Our club represents a diverse membership of 270 business, professional, community leaders united to serve our local and international communities through a commitment of service above self. So welcome, everyone. And do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Oh, we do. Isabel, would you mind introducing yourself, unmuting and introducing yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name's Isabel. I'm happy to be here. I'm just curious about the community. Actually, it's spontaneous. I was actually looking forward to hear the guest speaker, Juanita Chavez Gordon, and I believe his name is Arnaldo Garcia. And but it was spontaneous sign up. I was hoping to network with Miss Juanita Chavez, and particularly, I started to read more about the Rotary Club and how nationwide it is, how old it is. So I'm honestly coming in out of spontaneity, and I would like to just learn more and to participate as much as I can in this next hour. So
fantastic,
yeah,
Isabel.
I'm open to learn more about everybody.
Great. Well, so Arnaldo will not be presenting today, unfortunately, but Isabel will be here in about half an hour with us. So just, you're part of the club today, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And then do we have any other guests or visiting Rotarians? All right. So moving forward, we do have a thought for the day. And so Christine Watson will be leading us with that and also making a special announcement about an upcoming event. So Christine, take it away.
Thank you, President Tom. Now is a time of terrible discord, and today is a message of peace. You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist. Indira Gandhi, the first female Prime Minister of India. The only alternative to war is peace, and the only road to peace is negotiations. Golda Meir, first female president, Prime Minister of Israel. Only when we live in shared experiences can we create world peace through understanding. Jennifer Jones, Rotarian International, first woman president. The announcement I'd like to make today is that the immediate past president, Jennifer Jones, also known as Chief Storyteller, will be visiting the Oakland Rotary Club. President Tom's message came out earlier this week with more details, and Jesse also sent some registration details to us today. So we're planning 2 events in one day. The first one is really personal and interactive, a civic lunch meeting with past President Jennifer Jones on Thursday, November 2nd. And then also on the same day, President Tom is sponsoring an area-wide dinner meeting at Scott's in Oakland. This will also support our the Rotary Foundation goals, and also is in honor of past President Jennifer Jones's visit. All are welcome, to one or both, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks, President Tom.
Great. Thank you so much, Christine. And Mr. Joe Garoka, if we could highlight you. And unmute, please.
Thank you, Tom. Sorry about that.
All
so
right.
I have some very, very sad news to share. Rotary International past president Rick King passed away just yesterday. He was going to come to our Jennifer Jones luncheon meeting to celebrate his birthday. Unfortunately, he won't be able to. Rick was one of Rotary's most inspirational speakers In fact, our district speech contest is named after him. A Cal Bear undergraduate degree in law, an accomplished lawyer, but also a professionally trained singer, Rick knew how to captivate an audience. He was Rotary president in 2001, 2002. His theme was "Mankind is Our Business," a blending of humanitarian service and business. During Rick's year, Rotary had the largest increase in Rotary membership ever. He was known for his 20 reasons to be a Rotarian. You should Google it. Rick received numerous awards for his service and humanitarian efforts. Our district even has an annual award in his honor, awarded to the individual who makes the greatest personal commitment to the programs of the Rotary Foundation, which we will celebrate in Rotary Foundation Month this November. Our own Seth Butner is a recipient of this district award. The Rotary world lost a legend, a champion. We lost our own beloved Rick King.
Okay, and if we could just have a moment of silence for Rick King. Okay, thank you, Joe and Christine. Joe and Christine are the co-chairs of the Rotary Foundation, our events coming up, and they've been doing tremendous amounts of work behind the scenes. And this Jennifer Jones event was just brought to our attention just a couple weeks ago, and we already have the ball in motion, and we'd love everyone to participate. And I posted the dinner in the chat. You can register on Eventbrite for the dinner. And with the in-person, it's more private. So it's looking like it's going to be a Q&A with Jennifer Jones. And so that's going to be really exciting. But in order to limit registration for that, for members and Area 1 members, we're sending out a special invite that requires a password. So moving forward with our meeting, with that unfortunate news, I did want to share a couple of things that are coming up. The Castro Valley Rotary is having a fundraising event on the 19th, which is next week. And it's a dinner, but it's also a dinner plus whiskey tasting. So the slide is a little fuzzy, but it's $75 just for dinner and $175 for this really high-end exclusive sort of Australian whiskey. And so they're going to have flights of whiskey. So if you're a fan of whiskey and a fan of fellowship, please join them. Also on September 29th, our club, as I mentioned before, our club was selected to create a Dia de Los Muertos altar. So, Julie Ng is going to be leading that. She's created altars in the past through her work in education. And so she has some really interesting concepts. There've been a few people who have also indicated their interest in participating, but we would love to support Julie. And also remember, Rotarians, we would love to have a photograph, like a 3x5 or 5x7 photograph. If you wanted to honor a past Rotarian or loved one, we would love to include it in our altar. So also moving forward, in November 11th, we have a cleanup of what's a service day volunteer activity. It's cleaning up the PAL camp, and Wendy Takuda will be there as she is every year. And so we would love to have you there. All of these events you can register on Eventbrite. Also on our website, if you go to our homepage, we have a volunteer button on our website. So it's right when you land on the website. And so what we want to do is we want to create a pool of volunteers, Rotarians, non-Rotarians, friends, family. We would love to have a place where they can register and be included on invites for service days like the one at PAL camp or at Dia de los Muertos or other community events. Very quickly, I would like to recognize a few birthdays that have passed. I'll try to be more regular about this, but on October 9th, we had Tommy Edwards and Sophonia Foster and Pat Williams, Pauline Fox and Robert Kenny on the 10th, Mr. Isaac Haas Reed yesterday. Happy birthday, Isaac. Wise Allen is today. Don Hills, Christy Johnson Limon, Jason Toro are on the 13th. Jason Weiselman is on the 16th, Ben Hillman on the 18th, along with Sean Marks and Lou Regali. So a lot of October babies out there. Up next, we have committee updates. And so Jesse Schmidt, are you available to share what's happening tonight and in the coming months?
I sure am, President Tom. Do we have a slide for our Rotary Masterminds?
We do.
Phenomenal. So Rotarians and guests, I'd like to invite you to come join us at our own Rotarian Tobu Kondu's downtown Oakland venue called Scene, and that's the mural painted inside the venue there. We're hosting Rotary Mastermind, where we're going to have 3 fantastic Rotarian speakers, Allison Bliss, Shannon Hackley, and Lewis Griggs. And so that event runs from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We'll have some snacks, we'll have some beverages, and we're going to learn from the decades of knowledge and experience that Allison, Shannon, and Lewis have to share with us. Tom, do you want me to talk about casino night also?
Absolutely. Please
Okay.
share.
So also on December 2nd, that's the first Saturday of December, we have our casino night coming up. This is the Business Development Committee's special event where we're going to have some gaming tables, blackjack and pie gow, and we'll have a bar, and it'll be a great time to celebrate the holidays with our club. And it's open to anyone and everyone that would like to join, especially Rotarians, friends, and families. We're going to be inviting surrounding Rotary clubs from the district. And so we hope to have it be a large, successful event that is benefiting our Rotary youth committees. So we hope to see you all there, and please invite your friends and family.
Great. And thank you, Jesse and David and Danny, for all your work behind the scenes and making these events happen. It's a lot of work. And you know, everyone has busy lives, and just very thankful that you're making time to do this. I put registration links for tonight's mastermind and also the casino night in the chat. So please, if you're available, please check it out and let's support our members. David Kirsten, are you available?
Yes, President Tom, thanks. We're just going to do a social media moment, and I believe there's a slide. We're going to try to do this periodically. I think it's just important to let people know about our presence on social media. There are the links, the handles there. If you don't follow us on all those platforms and you're a member, do that, because a great way to invite people, you know, really to be successful in inviting, it takes a personal touch. So you might just take a link from our Eventbrite and say, hey, join me at this Rotary event, join me at this Civic Thursday meeting. So, and we'd love to just get some engagement on there and just more activity. And we'll be kind of bringing this up periodically as we have new little social media minutes. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll go ahead and post that in the chat shortly. So thank you, David, for all your work leading the PR committee. And when does your committee meet, David?
Yeah, we meet every Monday at 9:30. If it's a holiday, we meet on Tuesdays, and we welcome folks to come join our committee. We have a great group with you, Tom, and really a mastermind of key folks in the club for promoting the club.
That's right. And yeah, and like David said, you know, we all learn from each other. And so this is really a good group to be a part of if you want to participate and just sit in and just, you know, absorb and learn. So thank you, David. Shannon Hackley, do you have something you want to share with us today?
I do. I have some business, some Rotary
All right.
business. This club is very good at transitioning year to year with new leaders and new opportunities. And we have a formal process for electing new board members and upcoming presidents. So next week, by the end of the week, Jesse will be sending an email out that contains all members in the club who are eligible to be on the nominating committee. For those of you that aren't aware, you do need to be in the club for 4 years in order to be on the nominating committee. You also cannot be an incumbent or current director to be on the nominating committee. Now, here's a little hint. If you want to be on the board, or if you want to be an upcoming president, don't get on the nominating committee. So that would give us a clue that we can maybe nominate you to some of these cool positions. So then after the nominating committee is selected, which will be by a voice vote on the 19th, which is next week, 12 eligible members will be nominated, and then they will get together to come up with filling the slots for the board and for the president-elect on November 2nd. So November 2nd, there'll be a written ballot that'll be presented to those in the ballroom and an online ballot. And those names will be put out to the floor, and we will elect new board members and a president-elect. So any questions on that? It's in our bylaws. These are rules that we, there was a comment wondering how these things happen. Well, they happen by us nominating our own, and those eligible people nominate others. And put your hand up. You don't get if you don't ask. You don't have to be that person sitting on the side wondering, are they going to pick me? Let some people know. That's my announcement.
Great. And Shannon, could you give us just a quick update on the Oakland Ballet's flower event? Just
yes.
quick
So
30 seconds.
I was so happy to be at the Oakland Ballet's flower event. It was the most robust showing of Oakland at its finest at the Paramount Theater. The house was full. The ballet and Destiny Arts and individual other artists participated. There was a showing of the movie by Christy, what's her name?
Yeah, the ballerina, Misty Copeland.
Misty Copeland. Oh my gosh, she was fantastic. She was there in person. The entire event it gave me chills when you think about, oh my gosh, about how many things are happening in the world that don't rise your spirit. This was 100% positive talent in Oakland. Every piece of Oakland was represented, and I was really honored to be there. Super fun.
Great.
Thank you, Rotary, for putting that together.
Great. Thank you, Shannon. Mr. Michael Bruck, do you have an announcement about something happening next week?
I do, President Tom. Just a reminder that Oakland Rotary is celebrating National Book Month next week, October 19th, 12 noon in the ballroom. We're going to have our own Rotary book exchange. We've got quite a few books already. Please bring one or two of your favorite books to donate, and be ready to bring home one or two new books to read. And I was just thinking about the impact books have on us. I happen to be a big fan of the Wizard of Oz books. L. Frank Baum wrote 14 Wizard of Oz books between 1900 and 1920. The last book he wrote was Glinda of Oz. And I'm such a fan that our cat's name is Glinda the Good Bruck. So yeah, these books have interesting impacts on us. Anyway, see you next week, next Thursday, for our book exchange. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Michael. And we have one more event to promote today, and that is our Halloween party on October 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. And I'm putting a link in the chat to register. We would love to have you be there in costume, and this is open to friends and family. So really, we want to have a good party. And so, yeah, be sure to register as soon as possible so we can get a proper head count. It's just in two short weeks. And this will also replace our weekly meeting. So anyways, yeah, I'm really curious to see who's going to dress up as what. So it's always a fun event. And
Isabel, you should come. Isabel, come.
Yeah, that's right, Isabel.
Yes, I'm writing everything down already. I'm pretty excited for this. I think it will give me room to learn more about the speakers and leadership programs at the Rotary Club.
Great. And you can always go to Eventbrite. I posted the Eventbrite link in the chat, and that's where you can register for pretty much all of our events. So Lewis Briggs, you are here today, and you are going to do a fellowship moment.
I am, yes, as a member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee of ours. our fellowship moment today is, among all of them, is to deepen our connections and our personal understandings of one another as Rotarians and as just fellow humans. That's our effort to try to get beyond just a handshake and try to invite us to actually learn more about one another. So today's question is a very simple one, and that is, what is the essential part of your daily routine? But we don't mean brushing your teeth. So we mean pick something when you're now going to be separated into groups of 3 by Peter, okay? For just like about 7 minutes, you're going to get 2 minutes each. And I want you to go deeper and share something that's very important to you that you do every day. Very important to you, okay? And then we'll come back and maybe one of you can share one of those so that we'll be done with our 10 minutes with a little deeper connection with one another. Okay? Peter, go ahead. Divide them into groups of 3. You're all back, all 45 of you. And so before we break, instead of picking on one of you, I'm just going to say, you know, one of the most important thing I do every day, having been a survivor of the read. But when I wake up and breathe, I get to look in the eyes of the best friend I've ever had and say, oh my God, what did we get so lucky to come back again this morning? And then when she spends an hour making dinner while I watch the news, which she doesn't do, we talk for about 60 to 90 minutes. And then I do the cleanup while she goes to read. And that's my daily routine, and everything else is less important in between. Thank you all. I hope you all got to know each other just a little bit, because that's all we're trying to do is be together, not only do together. That's all. Thanks. We'll do it as often as we can.
Great, great. Did anyone want to share something that they learned? Or
Tom, I want to share something, but I was asked by the person not to. But let me just tell you something. What I learned today is a mind blower. I can't give you more than that, but my group knows what I'm talking about.
That was a session well spent.
yeah, no, thank you. So let's see, Peter, did our speaker make it online yet? Oh, Juanita, I see you. There you are. All right. Well, welcome, Juanita. This is our group. So Juanita, just some background. Our club is almost 300 members, and we rarely have Zoom meetings. But today we had to have a Zoom meeting. And so Peter will be sharing your slides, and I'm going to make a nice introduction for you. So
Sounds great.
Okay, great. So Juanita Chavez Gordon is a Chicana from San Diego who is proud of her Chickasaw and Yaqui roots. She feels blessed by her Belizean Semillas, Jali, and Gavilan. She has been a daykeeper, guía espiritual, in the Mayan community for a decade, and danzante in the Aztec tradition for 30 years. She graduated from UC Berkeley with a major in Chicano studies and a minor in education, equity, and inclusion, and access to higher education is a focus of her commitment. She stays connected as a co-chair of the East Bay chapter of the UC Berkeley Chicano Latino Alumni Association. She's been co-chair of the Oakland Museum of California's Dia de Los Muertos committee for the past several years. And to keep the lights on, she works in disability management and writes time off policy for a local utility provider. Juanita is also a very happy farmer at Cloverfield Organic U-Pick Farm in El Sobrante. Please welcome her and pick your own fruits, vegetables, and herbs. So welcome, Juanita.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and share this wonderful invitation with everybody. And so I know that the museum prepared some slides, some pictures. And so I just wanted to introduce the event. The event is Dia de los Muertos celebration. And it is going to be a fabulous day on Sunday, October 22nd. So not this weekend, but the following weekend. Doors will open at 11, and we try to stop the dancing at 4 o'clock. The tickets are $10. They're available now on the website. And one really giant perk from the tickets is that it does allow you to go into the exhibit that's running that just started last week of Malaquias Montoya. So I'll go into the program a little bit as we go through the slides. So the first thing to mention is that at the very beginning of the day, and then if Tom, can you let me know how long is this presentation? How long do I have?
You have about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and then if you can take some Q&A after
Okay.
that.
So if you want to stop me at 15, so that we can leave 5 minutes for Q&A or discussion. And I'm getting a couple of prompts for my contact, so I'm going to read it out here. So number is 510-593-0210, and my email is juanitacg5@gmail.com. And so we start with a ceremony in the morning, and you'll see a picture there of danzantes. So Dia de los Muertos is a celebration that is from Mesoamerica, celebrated by a lot of Latin American countries. And for a lot of indigenous people, which I want to recognize today being indigenous people, we are in Oakland. The museum is in Oakland, which is Ohlone territory. So we start in the morning acknowledging where we come from. If you could pause the slides right there. In many indigenous traditions, Dia de los Muertos is every day. So we acknowledge, you can keep the slides up, but I just not keep going. So it's an everyday thing. We acknowledge, we all have our altars in our different homes where we acknowledge folks who have passed, and we pay homage to them every day. But there is 2 very special days during the year when it's extra celebrated, and so that's November 1st and 2nd. So our celebration at the museum is in homage to that, and so we are very cognizant of starting out with a ceremony, and we feel like the whole day is a ceremony. And so in the very beginning, we have a procession, we have danzantes. So what you're seeing here are the drummers from Aztec dancing. And the Aztec dancing and the ceremony happens until 12:30. And it's essentially calling out the spirits, recognizing the 4 directions, recognizing some of the sacred objects that are put onto an altar. And so if you've never had an altar or participated in making an altar, it's a great opportunity to learn how to be respectful about that. So that's how we start the morning. And then we have a beautiful lineup of performances that follow that. While you're listening to the performances and seeing the next visual that's happening that you're going to see on the slideshow that you'll be able to see all around you are the ofrendas. And so these are altars that are made by different community groups. And each altar will have kind of its own theme. We've had altars before that have focused on immigration, and you'll see like lots of cages. We've had, with butterflies. This year, one of our main altars is going to be focusing on the roots of the Mesoamerican tradition of Dia de los Muertos. And so these are different ofrendas. Ofrendas are offerings, and essentially you'll see there's pictures and all the things that our loved ones enjoyed in this life because it's a time when we're asking their spirits and their energies to come back, be around us, and enjoy those same things. And so you'll see chocolate and pan de muertos, Day of the Dead bread. Sometimes somebody had a special little drink that they would like. Another thing that you'll see everywhere is those orange flowers. Those are called samposut or marigolds. And the idea of the marigold is that it's super pungent. If you've never smelled marigolds, they're very, very pungent. And the idea is that leads them, along with the light of the candles, the spirits, to arrive to your altar and bless you in that way. So this year we have middle school, Black Girls Brilliant, Montera Middle School, Berkeley Mental Health, their wellness recovery team. We have First Exposure, which is photographers, La Clínica de la Raza, Casa del Sol. The OMCA has a volunteer committee that plans all year long, and so that's what you're looking at with one of our ofrendas from last year. And then there's also Alma Latina Danza Tonati from Richmond High, and we have the Queer Art Center. So those are the different altars that you will see put up that you'll have an opportunity to engage with and ask questions and see their loved ones. And if you're coming to the celebration and you have a picture of a loved one that you'd like to place on the main altar, feel free to do that, and then just remember to pick it up at the end of the day. So I'll just keep going with what we have in terms of artesanía. So we have beautiful vendors that will be selling sugar skulls. They'll be demonstrating how to make tortillas. There's kids activities. We have vendors that sell art. And then again, we have performances. So this year we have a packed schedule with poets. You'll see there is like one of the ballet folklorico groups. We have a performance by Gabriel Sepúlveda, which is La Voz Coqueta del Regional Mexicana. That's a mariachi. And then we have a performance by Banda 300. So lots of music to dance to. We should ask you to shake your tail feathers with us. We'll have ballet folklorico. Of course, in the beginning, we start out with Danza Azteca. And then our big performer that day is Jesus Diaz and su cuba, so su cuba. So a little bit of Cuban flavor, like salsa and just all different kinds of music to really, really enjoy on the day. And then in the very end, we close again with ceremony with 4 directions. And the last hour or so, we have actually an hour and a half, we have a limpia. So we have at the 4 corners of the grassy area, we'll have a traditional spiritual cleansing that you can participate in. And it's a very beautiful experience if you've never had a limpia. And the folks who are offering that limpia are folks from the volunteer committee. And yeah, it's just a beautiful day, a lot of fun. There's also going to be food that we're going to have. We're going to have tamales, atole, champurrado from La Guerrera's Kitchen, pan de muerto from Bakery El Sol, and then tacos, quesadillas, and agua frescas from Ta Cabrona. So please come out and see us. We also have the town fair that will be open, and they're gonna. And then in the museum shop, we've had problems in the past because we have one particular vendor that comes with chocolate, and depending on the weather, that's not the best thing to have outdoors. And so the museum has agreed to offer that inside of their store. So don't forget to stop in there. Another perk of that $10, like I said, is that you do get to go into the Malaquias Montoya exhibit that day. So please, come by and see us, see us, feel us, share your energy, be with your loved ones, and receive what you should, be honored to receive. It's a beautiful day, lots of colors, lots of children. Typically we have about 2,000 people come through, and it's just a wonderful experience. So I'll go ahead and pause. I don't know if anybody has questions, but you are welcome. We worked really hard on it, and it turns out beautiful. So.
Yeah, we're going to ask people to post questions in the chat, but if you could just start with, how did you get involved with the Dia de los Muertos festival at the museum, or just Dia de los Muertos in general?
So as in my bio, it says I'm both Native American and I'm Chicana, and so I've always been very aware of indigenous thought with regards to death and the cycle of life and the cycle of death, and being able to connect with your ancestors through the smoke of a copal or the smoke of sage, and being aware that the traditions that I am left with are because of the folks who passed before me, and so there's a need to honor that, and so when I got involved with Danza Azteca, that became more prominent in my life because we actually dance and have ceremony, and it's a very intense ceremony, like of singing and building altars all night, and then maybe sleeping for an hour and then dancing for another 8 hours. And so in my work, in my community work, I was invited to be part of the Dia de los Muertos committee. We have several different committees within the committee. And if anybody's interested in participating in that, we do have a vetting process. We meet once a month, more if necessary among the committees as the date gets closer. So that's how I became involved.
And how long have you been involved with this particular event?
I've been involved with it. Well, I've been dancing at Dia de los Muertos at the Oakland Museum since my kids were babies. So that's like 20 years. This is our, I believe, 29th anniversary. Oh my goodness, I think I'm wrong.
No, that's right. It's 29.
Okay, it's our 29th year. So I've been dancing there for a long time. And then what we do is we change groups over the years. However, those danza groups open it up to other groups. And I just became close with a few people who were on the committee. One was actually my college roommate, and they invited me to participate, and it's been wonderful. A couple years ago, during the pandemic, we had to change our ceremony to be, or our celebration to be online. And we had the whole opening procession and ceremony in my backyard. And so it's really nice. If you go on the website, you can check it out.
Great. We do have a couple questions in the chat. So one question is from Deborah Barnes, and how does a community organization get selected to have an altar? And maybe Rotary
sure.
can participate in a future year.
Sure, thanks, Deborah, for that question. So there is a process where you have to apply. We typically have about 7 community organizations, and it really comes down to your energy, how much you want it, and what you're willing to offer. We always tell them the bigger the better, because it's visual. The more interactive, the better. But intention is our main goal that we're looking at when we choose community altar maker.
Great. And then a question from Eric Harrison. Do you think celebrating Dia de los Muertos helps us deal with death better as a society?
Absolutely, absolutely. It allows. So one of the things that we as a committee do is prior to our event, we have an enrichment activity. So we always get together and we make some kind of ofrenda that on the day of we're going to put there. I'm already feeling emotional. So this year I had a friend of mine who was a student at UC, a PhD student, and he was murdered in Mexico. And when we came together in our enrichment activity this year, we made candles and we decorated the candles. And I am a busy person. I'm hopping from meeting to meeting. I'm doing all kinds of stuff all the time. And I always think of myself as not an artist in that way, or not crafty in that way. But when I am forced to sit down and do it, I get so much enjoyment out of it. And so this year I made a candle that was in honor of my friend Gabriel Trujillo. And it was very healing for me. And when I put it on the altar that day, it will be healing for me. And when I take it home and on Dia de los Muertos, I turn that candle on, it will be healing for me. I will be able to be close with him. And 5 years ago now, I lost my father, que en paz descanse, and every year he's on that altar. I have multiple friends. Every year as Muertos is coming, they ask me, are you going to put my picture, my dad's picture up, my mom's picture up? Because they know I'm going to have an altar. And so absolutely, it is a very healing experience.
Great. And I remember Joe Garalka has a message, and what he wrote, he loves the circle of life message and the respect for those that paved the way. Curious to find if younger generations are embracing these customs, and if so, why?
Yes, I think the younger generations are embracing it because of the violence that they're seeing in the streets, because of the climate change that is affecting our world, because of the circle of life that they're having to deal with. You know, as children growing up, you have to see death happen in your own family. And this is a way that is colorful, that is happy, that allows you to cry and celebrate that, allows you to get creative and make food and offer it in that way. I think in my personal experience, Danza Azteca is something that calls to the youth, because it's body movement, it's sweating, it's something that is not judged. It's not a competition. It is just a pure offering of your heart. And in that same way, Dia de los Muertos ofrendas end up being that. It's not a competition. It's a celebration. And so it kind of twists that sadness of death into a way to be closer to those who have passed, and a way to deal with death collectively. And I think that is one of the biggest advantages for youth, that gives them a space to deal with that collectively.
And just the Rotary Club, our Rotary Club is doing an altar in the Fruitvales celebration.
Yes.
So this is the first time we've taken it on, and we're working. We met with Daniel Camacho, so he gave us some ideas. But we have a member who's Julie Ng, who's built them before when she worked at some schools in the mission. And so she has some experience building altars, and so she's got a really cool concept. And just for all our Rotarians out there, it's around hope. So this year's Rotary International theme is Create Hope in the World. And so Julie's got a pretty cool concept on integrating hope into the altar. And then also identifying like some projects that we've done around the world that have provided hope for different communities. And then just as a little background on me, I worked at the Unity Council from 99 to 2009, and I helped I helped build. I helped grow the festival in Fruitvale during those years, and it went from a 3-block festival to a 9-block festival, and so no, it was really exciting to see that and be part of that. So it's kind of nice to go back this year, and as president of the Rotary Club, but also to bring more Rotarians with me and have them experience this festival, and the emotions attached with building an altar and remembering past loved ones and past Rotarians. And we've lost through COVID, we've lost some pretty important Rotarians in our world, and we want to definitely recognize them.
Yeah. Well, kudos for you guys. And I also just want to mention that there's so many cultures that celebrate death in different ways, that it's really beautiful to be able to share it with, cross-culturally. And I just felt like I needed to say that, because that's at the heart of a lot of our different cultures. And that is another way for us to unite as a people and gain more understanding with each other.
That's right. And Anna Marie Jones has a great question. So her question is, what are your best tips for creating altars and for personal ceremonies to acknowledge our ancestors?
So best tip for creating altars would be like heart and intention and interaction. So giving somebody something to relate to in your altar, that they can walk away thinking about. For example, like some people use mirrors, to be innovative, but make it something common that somebody can go home and duplicate or see, and it reminds them of the altar that they saw. Fresh flowers, the freshness of, or fresh herbs that are going to put a fragrance that, again, somebody's going to go home, and when they're walking by that same rosemary bush, or next time they have rosemary and they smell that, they're going to remember, oh, this is a way to connect with plants. This is a way to connect with my ancestors, my plant ancestors. So that would be my number one tip, to make it relatable, make it memorable, make it alive, and make it like 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional, because that is what is going to attract somebody to your altar. And what you really want is for somebody to go there and feel the energy of the ancestors that you put on the altar, to see your grandfather, to see your grandmother, to see that child that was lost too soon. And maybe even like stories that people can read about it, because you may not be available to explain everything. And it may be self-explanatory through the picture, but if you have a little story of that person, or at least their name, that adds a lot to it. And then the other question, what was the other part of it?
Personal ceremonies, so acknowledge our ancestors.
Yeah. So last week, a week and a half ago, I went and I talked to casistas, people who live at Casa Mora, freshmen and women from UC Berkeley, and it was around Danza and Dia de los Muertos. And some folks have been exposed to these ways, and some had never been exposed, but something in them was like, oh, that's in my people though. I know that, I recognize it, I could feel it. And afterwards, I had students who were grabbing me. They were like, they had all these questions. And then I finished, and I was walking away. And as I was leaving the dorm, this young woman goes, hey, Miss Juanita, can I ask you something? And she ran over to me and she says, I just want to know, how do you know when the spirits or the ancestors have arrived? And I was like, what a beautiful question. And I said, well, let's see. And we had our backpacks on and everything. I said, let's hold hands. And so we held hands. And I said, now close your eyes. And she closed her eyes and we took a little breath. And suddenly a huge wind went. We couldn't feel it. We just heard it. And then we felt it. And I said, did you feel that? Did you hear that? Open your eyes. Can you see it? Can you feel that? And she goes, oh, they're in the wind? So it was very, very beautiful. And I was like, yes, they're in the wind. And they're in the trees. And they're in the water. So I tell people a personal ceremony, it doesn't have to be this grand thing with all these tangible objects. You can have a grain of rice or a cup of water and use that to pour your blessings into it and pour your gratitude for those blessings into it, and then drink it or pour it into a beautiful plant to grow life. And so again, I just go back to heart and intention. That's the most important thing of any kind of personal ceremony.
Great. Well, we thank you for your time and taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I'm glad this worked out for everyone. And my intention for this year is to support youth and Oakland Parks and Rec and open space in Oakland. And we'll be making a small donation, or we'll be making a donation to the Oakland Parks and Rec Foundation's Ann Woodell Swim Scholarship Fund, which supports the Oakland Swim Initiative, so every child in Oakland can learn to swim by 5th grade. So again, thank you, Juanita, for taking the time and to be with us. We're very honored, and you gave us a lot to think about as we build this altar in a couple of weeks. And everyone, please attend the Oakland Museum's event on October 22nd from 11 to 4. And also on October 29th from 10 to 5 is the Fruitvale Dia de Los Muertos Festival. So we hope you can make both of those events. And so I'd like to thank Jesse Bottle for doing all the work he does behind the scenes to make this happen. I would also like to thank the AV team for making this happen as well. I would especially like to thank Louis Griggs for leading us on this DEI, this fellowship moment, and also to everyone who participated and shared with what their committee is up to. So Ruth Stroup, are you out there somewhere? Okay, so next week, we do not have a formal speaker, but we do have members speaking. So we have several members who will be getting inducted next week, and also several members who will be sharing their 3 minutes introduction. So we're playing a little bit of catch up, but I think it'll be a really fun, interesting day and getting to know people a little bit better. So thank you everyone for participating on Zoom. And remember, Oakland Rotary is here for you. So thank you. Have a great day.